Today, I want to dive into the conversation that most men are having when it comes to their health, to their fitness, and their performance. And it's that most of us don't necessarily have a, a habits problem or like a knowledge problem when it comes to like, hey, what do I need to be doing in order to get my body and health where it should be? It's really just much more of a priority problem. And I think that's what's plaguing so many guys these days, and why guys are struggling to get the body and health that they want. So, my goal here is just to have not only in this exact episode, but inside this podcast generally, is to start having those uncomfortable conversations and figuring out, like, hey, where's the roadblock? Where's the biggest cause for friction in doing the things required for you to have the health that you want to have? My name is Montel Hardin. Since 2017, I've helped hundreds of men in leadership optimize their health, their fitness, and their performance so that they can show up at their best in every area that matters most to them. And this is the Metabolic Man Podcast, where we help you figure out exactly how to get that done. We're going to have conversations kind of like this. We're going to have much more technical conversations, things that you're going to be able to actionably take away and implement into your health and fitness strategy. So I'm excited for it. So if you're a husband, father, a guy running the business, leading the team, and somewhere in the last few years, your body has kind of taken the brunt of that. Your body has taken the hit. I had a conversation with a friend a couple of days ago that has actually lost weight, and half of it has been lean muscle mass just due to being so stressed out with work, with family, all of these different things. And it's like if you let time pass and you just kind of wake up and you go through the motions every day, you'll wake up in a body that just has been neglected, that hasn't been taken care of. And that's one of the biggest things that aren't discussed, that aren't talked about in men's health circles. Like there's pretty much only two camps that you're really going to get information for. It's going to be the bodybuilding, like the guy that wants to spend, you know, 6-7 hours a week in the gym. He wants to meal prep every single bite of food he eats, weigh every single bite of food he eats. He wants to obsess over his sleep score and track all this and track all that. Like you got stuff for that guy, and then you got stuff for the guy that could not care less about making any actual lifestyle adjustment. He just wants to see what type of peptide he can inject, what type of pill or potion he can take, what kind of procedure he can get done in order to have the illusion of health or to mask these issues or these struggles that he's been dealing with. And he wants complete pharmaceutical convention, not pharmaceutical convention, but pharmaceutical uh, intervention, rather. And the other guy that literally wants to over optimize everything and live in the gym. And there's not really a space or anywhere for that middle ground where a lot of us are living, where it's like, you lead a team, you've got a family, you've got a marriage that you have to maintain and pour into, and kids that you have to pour into, and staff and clients and customers and all of these different things. And you don't have time to over optimize your health and fitness, but you do need to get your body healthier. You do need to get the stubborn fat off. You do need to get more metabolically healthy. You do need to start putting better foods in your body. You do need to start moving your body more and improving your strength and improving your fitness and improving your endurance. Like there hasn't really been a space for that guy that really just wants to use health and fitness to supplement his life and do the things that you want to do at a higher level. So every single week, this podcast is going to be specifically for that. And then today's episode specifically is really going to be bridging the gap between those two guys, the guys that literally are willing to live their entire life based on their fitness regimen, and the guy that couldn't care less, and whatever the doctor tells him to take or inject, he's going to do it, no questions asked. Those are both extremes that neither of us should be living at, and we want to operate more in the middle. I always say like the truth or the best approach, the best strategy is typically always in the middle ground of whatever it is that you're kind of wrestling between. So I think this podcast would be a great way to kind of get that in. So if you feel like you're failing, you're probably a guy that's maybe between 35 to 50 years old. Your energy has kind of started to dip a little bit. Your recovery has started to slow down. You're starting to feel soft in places you used to be hard at. You poke at your chest or your arms or your midsection, and clothes just aren't necessarily fitting the way that maybe they used to fit. You're just realizing that maybe for the first time that your body is starting to take a hit from a physical standpoint, not just the way it looks, but also the way it feels. And it's more than just your looks. It's also how you're performing. It's also your mental cognition, your mental bandwidth. It's also your confidence. Like you're starting to feel all this stuff start to take a hit. And of course, the first thing you say is, oh, I'm getting older, whatever. But also, you probably try to jump back into maybe what worked for you at 21 years old, 25 years old, 30 years old, whatever, which is, I'm going to restrict my calories. I'm going to go running every single day. I'm going to try to work out every single day. I'm going to try this supplement, this pre-workout, this thing, that thing. And none of it is yielding you results. As a matter of fact, it's probably making it worse. You probably started running and restricting your calories and you lost 10 or 15 pounds, but you're poking around and you feel even softer. Your energy is even lower. Like it feels like even when you put an effort toward your health goals, when you finally carve out a piece of time, you can get a piece of your calendar back from your job, from your business, from your family. You get a piece of your calendar back to kind of prioritize you. It feels like it kind of just made the situation worse. Like that's the guy that I'm talking to, because if you're listening to a health and fitness podcast, chances are you're not struggling to get off the couch. You're not struggling to put the Twinkies down or to stop ordering pizza for the third, fourth day in a row. Like that's not the situation that you're in. Chances are you've constantly tried to get back on the ball from a workout perspective, from a diet perspective. You've made a little progress, a little headway. You hit a hard wall. You got frustrated. You stopped. All the weight came roaring back. You feel worse than you did before. You feel like there's nothing that allows you to actually build consistency. And that's what we're here to create today. Like that's what you need to structure inside your life, is a way to stay consistent no matter what's going on, no matter, how hectic, how crazy the schedule is, your bare minimum standard. I talk about this all the time with clients. Like I care much more about what your worst day of health and fitness looks like than your best day. Anybody, any guy can have a great day where you get up and you lift and you go running and you eat 3 or 4 good meals and you get an amazing night of sleep. Like anybody can do that one time. I'm much more concerned with what you could do 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 5 days a week. Like that's what we're here to establish. It's like what is your minimum baseline? What can that look like? And then what results can that yield over a long enough time frame is what we're prioritizing. And this is why your health, your fitness matters just beyond aesthetics, because you might be here mainly because you're just uncomfortable with your look right now. Like you've bought some nice clothes, you got some nice suits in the closet. You do a lot of in-person stuff, a lot of stuff where people are like, you're in leadership, you're shaking hands, you're learning names, all that stuff, and you need to be presentable. And presentable isn't just what clothes you wear; it's also how the clothes fit. So maybe like that's your for like, man, I really need to get it together because I need to look the part of the position that I'm in, the leadership that I supposedly exude over everyone. Like, I just want to be more comfortable in my look. But it is way more than just the aesthetics. You have a huge, huge cognitive cost when it comes to not having your habits dialed in, having more excess body fat than you need to have. Your brain fog is way higher. You're slower decision. You're going to make slower decisions at work, slower decisions at home. You're going to be shorter with everyone around you. You also have a huge hormonal cost. So you're going to have a testosterone dip. Like, the more body fat you have accumulated past a healthy amount, typically, if you're getting past around 15% body fat, that's where you start getting into detrimental effects. 12 to 15% is probably your sweet spot. Anything going upwards past 15%, you're most likely going to experience some detriment. And obviously, the higher we get, the worse it's going to get. You start talking about 20%, 25%. That's where you're going to start having impacts to your mood, your drive, your libido, your energy, your strength. Once you start hitting about 25% or so, that's where you get that really unwanted body fat, like around the chest area, around the waistline, around the hips, and you just don't feel like how you want to feel. And so you're not talking about just aesthetics. You're talking about like, hey, how am I showing up in my day today? Like, that's really what we want to address and what we want to figure out. And then also, like, from a stewardship angle, like, your body, there's purpose in who you are as a person, how you present yourself, how you're showing up. And this doesn't mean to be vain, to stress over every little striation in your muscles and primp and preen in the mirrors all day. Like, you don't have to do that, but you also should be caring about, okay, how am I presenting myself? Like, what what does my physique say about my habits? It's not about what your physique says about you, but it's about what your physique says about your habits. And a lot of times your physique can say about your habits that you don't really care about what you put in your body. You don't really make the time to get up and prioritize yourself and your health and have that time to yourself and all that. And like, all of this stuff can be, whether it's right or wrong, like, we are humans and we judge books by covers and we make determinations based on those things. And you just have to be able to kind of play that game and understand that that's the business that we're in when it comes to people being able to look at us and then make determinations about us. So your body isn't just like, hey, how do you want it to look? It's also like, hey, what are other people saying? Like, what are they determining about the lifestyle that I live, the discipline that I have, the motivation that I have, the drive that I have, the energy that I have? What determinations are they making about those crucial elements of me as a man as a result of the physique, of the package that I am carrying, that I'm delivering? So if we really want to be honest about where the average man is falling, the average man in leadership, the average man with real responsibility, not the one that can live and breathe fitness, not the one you're probably seeing on your Instagram feed, and not the one that couldn't care less and he'll take whatever pill or potion or injection that he's being told to take. We're talking about the one that actually wants to take extreme ownership of his body and health. First thing you got to do is get honest. I can't tell you how many times I have a conversation with a guy and we're discussing working together and if it's going to be a good fit. And I ask him how much he weighs, and he tells me he hasn't stepped on the scale in a year. Like, that is evading responsibility. That is no different than making poor spending choices, poor spending habits, and just refusing to look at your bank account. That's no different than having certain KPIs that you guys measure inside your business, inside your role, but because things aren't going well, you don't look at it. Like, it's no different. You should know how much you weigh. You should know what your body fat percentage is. You should know. You should have your most recent, your vitals, your blood pressure, your A1C levels, your fasting glucose, your cholesterol levels. You should have more advanced blood work, like your hormone levels, things like that. Like, you should have these things in place because they give you an understanding and they take the emotion out of it. That's a huge, huge thing. A lot of us as men don't think that we're emotional. We don't think that we make decisions emotionally. I promise you we do. And a lot of times when you get numbers and figures and data in place, it allows you to stop making decisions emotionally because now it's like, okay, cool. This is where I am. This is where I probably should be. Here's the gap. And now how do we attack the gap? How do we shorten the gap so that I can get closer to where I want to be? So being honest about where you are means getting numbers, getting data, and getting figures about where you are so that you don't rely on your emotions and on your feelings anymore to tell you where you are. And then you also got to put systems in place. Like, stop running and operating on willpower. I don't know how many times, like, willpower and discipline is going to fail you every step of the way. Like, you're only going to be able to willpower and discipline yourself into something so many times before we got the work meeting, before you go out with your spouse, with friends and family. Like, you're going to eventually have to put systems in place that more likely than not allow you to do the things that you need to do, make the decisions that you need to make in order to get your body and health where you need it to be on autopilot. On autopilot. Because if you have to think about every meal you eat and you have to make a decision to make a good, healthy choice 3-4 times a day, you have to think about getting that workout in every time you do it, instead of it just being automatic, like something that's already on the calendar, something that's already, the path is already cleared for you. Already know exactly what you're going to do in that workout. You already know what foods you're going to eat, what options you have at your disposal. If you don't have that system in place for yourself, then you are not going to get your body and health in order because you're just not going to be able to stay consistent long enough to actually make it a lifestyle. Like, that's the biggest thing. We don't want a flash in the pan result. We want something where it's like, hey, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, I was able to maintain this training schedule, this style of eating, this way of eating, like these food rules that I built for myself, established for myself. Like, you need systems, not motivation, not a quick, oh, let me do this for, give me 30 days. Like, you hear stuff like that. Oh, give me 30 days, give me 60 days. Like, stop thinking like that. Thinking like that is why you have to get in shape every single year. Why do you want to keep doing the same thing every single year and not making any headway? You never do that in your business. You never do that in your relationships. You never do that with your parenting. You never do that with your finances. But so many men seem to be content with starting over, losing the same 30 pounds year after year after year after year, and never making headway, just constantly going from the heaviest you've ever been to slightly smaller. You don't even get an opportunity because you're always, every year, you're always focused on the same aspect of your health. You don't even get to focus on really, like, hey, getting stronger, or like maybe even building up a muscle group, or like really creating a look that you want. Like, it's just always like how to get the weight off. Like, don't you want to graduate past that? Like, your first goal, maybe when you got a job and started making some money, is like, hey, let me put $1,000 in an emergency fund. Like, you eventually get past that. You're not, 56 talking about putting $1,000 in an emergency fund. The number is likely much higher. The number is likely, or the goal, like, probably not even talking about emergency funds anymore. Probably talking about retirement accounts and investments and all that stuff. Like, you got to eventually graduate past the problems that you're dealing with now. And the only way to graduate past the issue of needing to lose the stubborn fat is to build a system that gradually gets that stubborn fat off. So now you can actually start focusing on other things. And then you also need to focus on the entire man, not just your body, not just your weight on the scale, but also like your sleep, your stress, your hormones, your gut, your recovery, your mental cognition, your spiritual health. Like, take the time when you're prioritizing your health. And this is why, like, you don't rush the process. You don't try to flash cook a result. Like, you really want to look at it like, hey, this is the time that I pour into myself. Like, whether that be you've got your devotional, your time with God, you've got your training system, your workouts, you've got your meals, you've got your sleeping, your rest, and like you've got your meditation, like whatever it is that you're putting together to build up your mental, to build up your spiritual, to build up your physical. All of that needs to be combined into one, and stop looking at the physical as just like something you're doing for your body or something you're doing for aesthetics or something you're doing for looks. It is all a part of the same system of taking care of you and building health as a foundation, and not a reward for when you're not busy anymore, for when that deal is closed, for when this happens, when that happens. Like, no, your health is something that's going to supplement and build up everything that you're working towards right now. It's building that up. Everything that you care about right now, it's improving that. You care about being a good husband, guarantee you, if you get your body in better shape, if you start looking better, feeling better, you start implementing better habits for yourself, guarantee you'll probably be a better husband. You'll probably be a better father. You'll probably be a better business owner. You'll probably be a better leader. Like, there's no way that you get healthier, that you develop healthier habits, and you do not improve in the things that you actually care about the most, the things that you're actually already good at, the things that you just need the bandwidth to really execute at the level that you want to execute at. Like, there's no way you don't improve. So that's the conversation that I don't think enough of us are having, is like, hey, stop thinking that this is just a physical thing. Stop thinking it's just a physical thing. Stop thinking it's just an aesthetics thing. Like, you will enhance and improve every area of your life. Every area of your life, bar none. I've seen it time and time and time again. You will enhance every area of your life if you will put your health, physical, spiritual, mental, emotional, put it at the center of what you're doing, and then let everything else kind of, excuse me, build from that. Let everything else build from that. And then that's what's going to allow you to really hit the next level, because we all feel like the next level is in like learning something new in our craft, or getting this new hack or this new trick or whatever. But sometimes the next level is just having the mental cognition, having the energy, having the confidence, like the soft skills. Like, we're so focused on like hard skills, so like, what do we need to learn? Excuse me, what do we need to go out and go get? Like, a lot of times it's just the soft skills, and getting your health in order develops those soft skills necessary to get yourself in the best shape of your life, and then improve every other aspect of your life. So that is it. That's all. That's my rant for episode number 1. If this is valuable for you, please share it with another guy that you think might want to hear it. Make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss next week's episode. Then also, if you'll click somewhere in the description, join our Metabolic Minute Newsletter. You'll actually get a couple of emails from me every week that give you the exact strategies and insights that our top clients are using to drop body fat, build lean muscle, improve their health, and then use that health improvement to enhance every area of their life. And if you've been listening for a while, you're subscribed to the podcast, you're subscribed to the email list, and you're like, hey, you know what? Let me see if this guy would be a good fit to help me get to my goals. You can click the second link, take our metabolic assessment, and you're going to get the exact game plan. Like, I'll literally tell you exactly, if you were my client, this is the 60, 90, 120-day game plan that I build out for us in order to get you to where you need to be. You'll have that game plan, and you can either run with it on your own, or you can hire me to help you get it done. But either way, get that assessment, figure out where you are. That's the biggest thing. And then how to get past there. And that's going to make all the difference. So I'm Montel Hardin. This is the Metabolic Man. I'll see you in the next one.